At first, everything went according to plan, and this plan was good. Perfect. A bit of flattery and bribery, a lot of blackmail, good PR, a series of terrorist attacks, a certain number of cold-blooded, exquisite murders. And now the whole world is at his feet. It's not a very big world, of course, a colony of insignificant size and minimal significance, incinerate and forget. But still he was at his feet, and the master loved such moments. Of course, he was waiting for the doctor, who reacted to the Christmas riots like a hungry cat to sausage, to look at the light. That would be the icing on the cake, a festive gift that will finally dispel boredom. But the doctor did not react in any way to the terror, the murders, or the deserted streets, with the cheerful lights flickering in vain. Did the master spoil the holiday for nothing? He even thought about the need for total genocide, something the doctor's TARDIS definitely shouldn't have missed. If that doesn't help, you'll have to get stuck here, arrange a dreary coronation for yourself, rule this world, raising a new generation of henchmen and hatching more and more perfect villainous plans. The prospects are not the best, although they have been worse. And that's where it all went wrong. It wasn't because of the doctor, and that was especially annoying. First, one of the henchmen reported that something unknown had emerged from the bowels of the planetoid into the light of day and was exterminating the population. And then the minions themselves began to disappear, both robotic and made of meat. Squad after squad. The master heard their screams on the radio, saw through the cameras, the darkness creeping over the unfortunate, and fragments of flesh and metal, flying in all directions and disappearing before they could stain the walls and pavement. No one had the right to interfere with his work. Except for the doctor, of course. Damn him. The master rushed to where an unknown alien evil was operating. He was always able to negotiate with his colleagues, to promise with 3 boxes, to intimidate, to bribe. But this time, the unknown shit brazenly ignored him, continuing to eat everything. Christmas trees, lampposts, garlands, houses, soldiers, weapons, shuttles. And the doctor still did not arrive. The asshole was either dead or involved in some other Christmas riots. Both of the master's options were incredibly infuriating, and now the master was wisely running away through the narrow streets of the remnants of the town. Several henchmen fled with him whom he initially planned to feed to the unknown creature in order to appease it. Now he wanted to shoot them as witnesses to his fiasco, and just to take out his anger and irritation on someone. But he was in no hurry to do that, because he could still feed them to the creatures, and thus gain a few seconds, or even minutes, during which anything can happen. A new ingenious plan will come to mind. The doctor will arrive. The end of the world will happen. The monster will get drunk and fall asleep. He could have just run to the ship and escaped on it, but the time machine was now on the other side of the impending darkness, and who knows if it even existed at all. The weak minions were falling further behind, out of breath due to the cold and fear. Besides, competing in a race with the Time Lord is an empty idea for a mere mortal anyway. Only one tried to keep up with him. The master did not remember his name, and most likely I never knew. He didn't want to know. But now, jumping over someone's abandoned belongings and gasping for breath, he desperately wailed, "I'm Batman, Batman, my God, what would Batman do now?" What? The master stopped abruptly, turned around, and grabbed the henchman by the throat. "Batman, my lord," the henchman sobbed. "He certainly would have thought of something." "Details," the master demanded, tightening his grip. "Do you serve someone else?" "He's a hero from the books, my lord," the already panicked henchman protested. "From ancient books. As a child, when I got into trouble, I imagined that I was him and did what he would do." "And did it help?" the master clarified, releasing him. The henchman clutched his neck with both hands and nodded eagerly. The master thought about it. There was no time to find out who Batman was and exactly how he acted, not in such a dead-end and time pressure. But he definitely knew a being who never considered dead ends and time constraints to be a problem. The doctor always got away with it. This infuriated and delighted the master. And now a plan has finally formed in his mind, not exactly brilliant and flawless, but the only one he hadn't resorted to yet. He had already used up all his tricks. But the doctoral ones don't. What would the doctor do now? And the Dalek knows him. To act like a doctor, you need to be a doctor. He looked around. Then he threw the henchman into the window of a nearby store. It crumbled with a clang, and stepping over the sobbing man, the master entered, unhindered. If he needs to become a doctor, then the costume needs to be as stupid as possible. The doctor always wore stupid suits. There was no time to choose an image. He pulled a red women's fur coat from the nearest mannequin and threw it over his shoulders. He felt like an idiot in an idiotic fur coat, but still not a doctor. Something else was missing: satellites. The doctor pathetically called his henchmen companions and seemed to take care of them, although the turnover among them was hardly less than among the master's henchmen. What would a doctor do now? I would have taken care of my companion. The master approached the man who was floundering in the glass fragments and, extending his hand, jerked him to his feet. Because of the constant need to compare myself with the doctor, everything was boiling inside. "Name?" "Stop it!" he demanded menacingly. "Donna, Amy, Hermione, Chuck, Fluff?" The henchman sobbed indistinctly, wiping the blood dripping from his nose, but it just got smeared. The master grimaced. "There is no time. You'll be Rudolph." Rudolph, it seems, was not there yet. "Now you are the master's companion. You're going to talk nonsense, and I'm going to save you. Understood? Start!" Rudolph blinked in fright and turned around. There, in the distance, the 8 remaining minions were hobbling, trying to escape from the oncoming darkness. There was no Batman in their childhood, so their chances were dwindling by the second. The master's new companion plaintively uttered his first nonsense. What the fuck would a doctor do? The master would have shot them out of pity, or he watched who would be eaten last. So these options were definitely not suitable. It's a pity. Cursing, the master looked around again. We needed something completely ridiculous, even crazier than a red fur coat, and it was hanging over the entrance to the store, a luxurious advertising Christmas tree. "Do you know what this is?" The master pointed at the Christmas tree. The doctor always tended to unnecessary monologues, sought to improve the education of his companions. "This is a wonderful anti-gravity model of a tree, a showcase advertising sample created according to all the requirements of the Beetlejuice Consumer Union. One day, a display case collapsed on His Highness, the Prince of the Three Systems. And since then, a decree has been issued that all advertising signs must be anti-gravity. Now, go to the store and get me some ski boots, size 42. He pushed his companion back into the shop by the scruff of his neck, and he climbed to unhook the ropes that held the advertising tree. The rope locks were strong, in full compliance with the requirements of the Consumer Union and the inconsolable relatives of His late Highness. The master took his staff from his belt. Actually, it was combat-ready and annihilating, but if you play with the settings, it could easily become a harmless kind of sonic screwdriver. The locks obediently opened, allowing him to pull the tree down. Rudolph, a red-nosed man with size 42 power ski boots, was already waiting for him there. The master still felt like an idiot. "Get on the tree," he barked, securing the rope locks on his belt and activating the power skids of the skis. The main thing is that the doctor never finds out about it. Turning on the medium acceleration mode on his boots, he rushed the showcase tree to the hopelessly lagging henchman. They didn't have to be persuaded for a long time. They didn't even need to slow down. They jumped onto the fir tree with the agility of hungry fleas who sensed a cherished dog's tail. The anti-gravity fir tree sagged slightly. Now it was sliding a few centimeters off the ground, and the master finally turned on the maximum acceleration mode on skis, just in time to escape from the lashing tongue of darkness. He felt excitement and angry triumph. He was rushing a Christmas tree with people at random, the way a doctor would do it. Walking randomly on any street in this city meant heading for the central square. So many people have already gathered here that not a single anti-gravity showcase would take away. They stood and looked fearfully at the public screens that went out one after another. Darkness surrounded the city in a ring. There was nowhere to run. The master stopped, turned off his skis, and ran up to a man in a local military uniform. People in military uniforms usually knew the most. "What the hell is this?" The master pointed his giant sonic screwdriver at the man. "You answer, and I'll save everyone. Trust me, I'm a master." "Master of what?" "What is it?" the military man asked, staring at the sonic wand. "Master who?" one of the civilians picked up. "The master of everything," the master replied irritably, belatedly remembering that the doctor was probably supposed to look at this worthless herd with eyes full of love. "For all hands. So what the hell is this?" "It's always lived in our minds," the civilian replied. "The thing that lived here before us. She crawls out periodically, rarely, once every 10 years, and sometimes more. She destroyed a couple of settlements before we figured out what to do with her." "What about her?" The master squinted. "We evacuate as soon as we receive the first signals. As soon as the sensors go dead, the canaries in the mines, we load all the most valuable items and wait them out in a distant orbit. The creature licks off everything that remains, crawls deep into the planet, and we return. The mines are rich, so it's more profitable than giving up everything for good." The master understood. This time, the timely evacuation was missed because of the mess with the coup that he, the master, had caused, and then the thing ate the spaceport. There was nothing to evacuate. The creature will devour everything alien here and crawl away into the darkest hole, leaving the planet in its original form. The perfect vacuum cleaner. What would the doctor do now? Calm down. I'll save everyone now, the master repeated, lowering the sonic screwdriver. He still hadn't formed a single hint of a plan in his head, and it must have been very similar to the doctor, but it didn't help at all. It needed something crazy. Something even crazier than a fur coat, a Christmas tree, and the spoiling of an annihilator. It started snowing, and so the poor visibility dropped even more. Although there was nothing to see, the darkness was now only a block away from them. 3 minutes, and it would all be over. Something uncharacteristic had to be done urgently. The master cursed the doctor, Gallifrey, and humanity at the same time, dropped everything that could serve as a weapon into the snow, and stepped forward into the darkness. "Hey, you!" he shouted. "Do you know who I am? Do you know what I have in my hand?" There was nothing in his hand. I probably should have grabbed at least the ginger man in advance, if only this little man had been handy. And have a snack before you die. Disappear with a ginger man in his mouth. But only the carved snowflakes were settling on the glove now. "Do you think it's just crystallized water?" "What is it?" he asked, mostly to himself. "No, it is the most powerful weapon in the universe. People are preparing to use it against you, but I am the master, the protector of all monsters. I have come to warn you and save you." It seems that the darkness has slowed down, stopping 1/2 meter away from the master. The master was feverishly thinking about how, with the help of a snowflake, it would be more improbable to destroy the ancient planetary evil. He felt like a complete idiot. "Each snowflake has 6 rays. It's always 6. Do you know why? 6 is a sacred number. 2 triangles, the number of preservation. You destroy people, but their death is reflected in every ray of snowflake, multiplies in each of them. It is transmitted to all corners of the universe, wherever there is water and crystallization. When a critical mass accumulates, a blow follows. An incredible force, magnified 1 billion times. All lives come back 6 times. All the energy of death hits you and your planet 6 times from each snowflake. And to top it off, people all over the world are singing an ancient battle song that resonates in these crystals." He glanced at the huddled henchmen. "They're singing, I said, the battle hymn." They exchanged glances, and Rudolph began to sing the first thing that came to his mind. Some kind of Christmas carol about bells. She was quickly picked up by the entire square. He felt like a genius. "Snowflakes resonate, and a sound information shock erases you from existence forever. You are not the first to be subjected to such genocide. Take a look around. Count the snowflakes, you idiot, and run as fast as you can." The darkness rumbled. Then she stepped back, staggering away from the swirl of snow, and it rushed away, being sucked into hatches, crevices, cracks. The master closed his eyes, exhaling. He was trying his best to stop feeling like a doctor. But the euphoria that gripped him was so strong that he found himself singing along to the crowd. The song of the bells, uncertain and quiet at first, now drifted freely over the remnants of the town. After a couple of hours, the master hurriedly left this planet. He wasn't going to wait for the coronation. To his delight, the ship managed to evacuate before the creature reached it, and returned beautifully right to the square. And even before the next Christmas carol had died down, the master, who was trying in vain to wash down the doctor with mulled wine, dived into the ship and tightly closed the door behind him. Leaning on the control panel, he shook his head, shaking out the haunting melody. "Where are we going?" someone nearby asked cheerfully. The master slowly turned around. It turns out that in the confusion and joy, he took Rudolph with him. "Distress signal received?" The ship reported. "On the planet Kurpa, a chthonic kitten has climbed onto the world tree and cannot get down." The master gritted his teeth. "Don't give in, don't give in." "Let's get started," he said, adjusting his red fur coat on his shoulders. "The next stop is Kurpa Planet. Rudolph, please go wash your face. You can scare a chthonic kitten." The time engine hummed obediently.